Thanks for joining us for another conversation about hidden risks inside small businesses. Today, we're going to talk about a quiet, costly problem I call delivery drift, when everyone assumes a business owns what it was sold, but nobody actually secured the rights, access, or artifacts needed to run it. Quick story to hook us. A boutique retailer paid an agency to rebuild their site. Launch went fine, sales climbed, everyone celebrated. 6 months later, the agency was acquired and the original team left. The retailer discovered they couldn't deploy updates because the agency controlled the code repository and the CI pipeline. They had the site running, but no way to patch or move it without rebuilding from scratch. It cost time, customers, and about as much as a modest legal fight. That same pattern shows up in marketing assets, analytics data, even customer lists. Small assumptions, big consequences. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going to do 3 things. Frame the problem with common small business scenarios, dig into the legal must-haves with Jessica, and get technical, practical controls from Eddie that you can deploy fast. By the end, you'll have a short diagnostic and 3 immediate fixes you can put in place in 30 to 90 days. Ready? Let's start by framing how delivery drift happens in day-to-day operations. Most small businesses outsource work because it scales faster than hiring. You hire a freelancer for a landing page, an agency for a site, a dev shop for custom features, or you subscribe to a vendor-managed SaaS. The deliverable shows up, you pay the invoice, and life moves on. Problem is, those handoffs rarely include explicit transfer of ownership or accessible artifacts. The contractor says we delivered it, and both sides interpret that as it's yours now. But the details, source code, build scripts, registries, asset metadata, license provenance, aren't always transferred. That's delivery drift. A couple quick scenarios. Marketing teams who get final design files but not the source layer structure. Engineering teams given compiled code but not the repo. Businesses relying on vendor-managed hosting with no export procedure. Each of these is manageable until it's not. Jessica, from a legal standpoint, what really needs to be in a contract so it's yours actually means yours?
Thanks, Dan. This is one of those areas where simple language matters. The core is clear IP assignment and explicit deliverables. Saying the vendor grants a license is often not enough. You want a clause that assigns all intellectual property created under the contract to the client, sometimes called an assignment of inventions or a work-for-hire provision, depending on your jurisdiction, plus a schedule of deliverables that lists source files, access credentials, and any third-party components used. 2 common drafting errors I see: vague deliverable definitions and over-reliance on deliverable as a broad term without enumerating components. Also, silence on third-party dependencies is dangerous. If your vendor embeds a library under a license that forbids commercial use, you can inherit that problem. My short checklist: 1. Explicit IP assignment language. 2. A deliverable schedule naming repos, build artifacts, and credentials. 3. Warranty that third-party components are compliant with declared licenses. And 4. An exit or escrow clause for critical assets.
That escrow point matters. People think escrow is only for big deals. Jessica, can a lightweight escrow be useful for small business projects without killing momentum?
Absolutely. Think of escrow as a conditional release mechanism. You don't need a bank-level escrow for every contractor. A simple contract addendum that requires the vendor to deposit source artifacts with a neutral third party or to provide encrypted backups accessible if specific triggers occur, like failure to respond, bankruptcy, or acquisition, can be written to be low cost and fast. The key is defining the triggers and making the process automatic so neither side stalls when trouble arrives.
Great. Eddie, from a technical perspective, what's the minimum practical hygiene a small team should demand so they aren't stuck with a binary they can't rebuild?
Start with provenance and access. Provenance means you can show where each piece came from and who has rights. Practically, require repo access under the client's organization, not the vendor's account, or require a fork transfer at completion. Capture build artifacts in CI logs in a package repository or artifact store. Document dependency licenses, and store a bill of materials. Those steps let you rebuild or at least verify what you're running. Affordable tactics. Ask for temporary read-write access to the repo during handover. require that build scripts run with documented commands, and save tagged release artifacts in a simple storage bucket with versioning. Use automated checks to capture dependency metadata. There are lightweight tools that produce a dependency manifest you can store with the project. None of this needs to be heavy. It's about making the path from source to production observable and repeatable.
You mentioned licensing earlier. What's a common surprise there, Eddie?
One surprise is transitive open source licenses. A vendor may include a permissive library that's fine, but that library may pull in another component with a copyleft license that imposes distribution conditions. If you deploy that code commercially without understanding the chain, you can inadvertently trigger obligations. Simple step. Require a declared dependency manifest and a warranty that distributions included are compatible with your intended use. It's not perfect, but it's a huge improvement over silence.
Let's move to operations. How should onboarding and acceptance gates change so sales and delivery don't hand off ownership assumptions? I'll start. Acceptance shouldn't be solely visual confirmation. It should verify access and rollback ability before you flip the production switch. Eddie or Jessica, want to add?
Yes, make your acceptance checklist include legal and technical checkpoints. Legally, confirmation of signed IP assignment, escrow deposit if required, and delivery of license manifests. Technically, repo ownership, documented build release steps, and credential transfers. Put that checklist into the contract as the criteria for final acceptance, so no one launches without rights and access.
Operationally also add simple naming conventions and metadata standards for assets. Who created it, version, date, and license. It sounds mundane, but consistent file names and metadata make audits and migrations far easier. And require a short runbook for routine updates. Who deploys, how to roll back, and where artifacts live. That runbook is invaluable when the original vendor is gone.
We're getting to the action items. Time for a rapid playbook you can implement in 30 to 90 days. I'll list 3 prioritized fixes and you each add a note. First, contract addendum to secure IP assignment and require a deliverable schedule. Second, create a lightweight artifacts inventory for active projects. Third, add a handoff gate to onboarding that verifies repo, artifacts, and rollback plan before acceptance. Jessica, quick note on the contract addendum?
Keep the addendum short and focused. 1 paragraph that assigns IP, 1 schedule table listing exact artifacts and access, and 1 sentence about escrow triggers. That structure makes it easy to include in existing agreements without a long redline process. If you have past projects with missing language, a 1-page addendum that both parties sign can cure the gap for future safety.
On the artifacts inventory, start with a spreadsheet that tracks repo URL, owner account, latest tag release, artifact storage location, dependency manifest location, and access contacts. Update it during every project delivery. Even a small list stored with your operations docs cuts the time to recover by orders of magnitude.
And on the onboarding gate, make acceptance require 3 signatures: product, engineering or IT, and procurement or legal, confirming access and IP transfer. That sounds formal, but it's a single checklist that takes a few minutes and prevents expensive surprises. Before we close, here's a compact diagnostic you can run in a 5-minute meeting with any vendor or contractor. 1. Who owns the source repo and can you transfer it today? 2. Where are build artifacts stored and can you access a tagged release? 3. Are all third-party dependencies declared with licenses? If you can't get straight answers, treat the deliverable as at risk and apply one of our 3 fixes.
One final legal tip. If you detect delivery drift in legacy projects, use a short corrective addendum that confirms assignment of past deliverables in exchange for a small fee or mutual release. Many vendors will sign because it clarifies exposure. It's cheaper than litigation and keeps relationships intact.
And a quick tech add-on. Implement a simple automated nightly snapshot of key artifact locations to immutable storage, even if it's just an S3 bucket with versioning and MFA delete. That gives you a quick recovery path if access is lost, and it's cheap.
Recap time. 3 immediate actions. 1. Add a short contract addendum for IP assignment and deliverables. 2. Build an artifacts inventory and capture provenance. And 3. Add an onboarding acceptance gate that verifies repo access, artifacts, and a rollback plan before go live. For templates and a compact briefing you can use right away, go to hiddenbusinessrisk.com for the Hidden Business Risk Briefing and repeatable checklists. That's hiddenbusinessrisk.com.
Okay, that's it for today. Thanks Jessica and Eddie for concrete, usable advice. And thank you listeners for joining us. If a single assumption could cost your business, it's worth a few hours to confirm it's actually owned. We'll be back with more episodes on everyday risks that compound into big problems. See you next time.